Hello and welcome back to episode 6 of our Timberborn Ironteeth Pressure playthrough. We are on the 1.0 experimental branch. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Glad to have you. Just a few quick notes before we get started. This past weekend, I have been sick as a dog and I have not been able to record many videos. I tried to record one when I was not feeling the greatest, and let's just say the results were subpar. I was not enthusiastic, and I found myself not even talking very much, and it just was not a good episode. So, I'm gonna try to figure out what to do with that one. That one was back on our Timberborn Folktales playthrough. It's getting really close to the last episode, and that probably would have been the last episode, but I'm almost embarrassed for that pathetic display to be the last episode in that series. So I'm going to see what I can do with that. Maybe redo the audio or something. I'm going to play around with that. Anyway, the result of the sickness is going to be you're unfortunately going to get less videos this week because I still do have to go on the road as a truck driver. And I just won't have as many videos prepared for the week. But I'm going to get done what I can here before I leave, and we'll go from there. Without further ado, let's get this started. I don't even remember where we were. Let's check. Unstable core. Is that one going to be an issue at all? I don't think so. We already blocked off the path for it. So that would create, this water would come down here. It also would give another way for the pressure to leave, but we're keeping that pressure contained. So that unstable core is not an issue. Let's see. We have five jobs not being done right now. We're deleting these berries. I think that's just to expand our industrial zone a little bit. I don't think we were planning on planting anything else there. Let's see. Logs are still doing okay. Yeah, I don't know if I like that they moved logs over here to the materials tab. I did like it having its own special one because it was such a important one to quick glance. It's one change I'm not a huge fan of on the 1.0 experimental branch. Let's see. After we pick that up, we can maybe plant some more cassavas. Let's see. We are kind of having some food issue, and water just ran out a little. Okay, yeah, this isn't set up automatic. That's an issue we need to address. Let's open that up again, let a little bit more water through. It's really not a huge deal. Actually, that amount of water does nothing good. And this is still acting really weird when we open that up. So we're going to get the water back down here, hopefully. Then those pumps can pump. We try to get more water stored up. So yeah, I am feeling much better now, but kind of everything's still a little bit in a haze, and I don't remember exactly what I was working on. So I do apologize. This episode might be a little bit chaotic because of that. I think we're just going to let this pump, and then we're going to pump from here instead. Here and this little hole. It's just going to cost too much evaporation to try to get this down here. One thing that was pointed out, unless I block here and have this be my main pumping area, this reservoir, I can't ever have the sluices just go, because it will just, there's nothing to stop it with this ledge here. So really, one thing I think I'm going to do is build up a dam here and make this a reservoir. I think that would be a better use of that space. These pumps aren't pumping anymore because the water's too thin. Let's turn them off and get ready to transition to these two and these two. Okay. We aren't really hurting on logs. I would like to cut down these ones here pretty soon to utilize that area a little bit better. Okay. Got a lot of builders. What are they working on? Suppose we're still working on that dam, so no, not really. This is quite a long drought. We did not get much stored up. Our current reservoir is not doing a whole lot of good for us. Let's go ahead and unmark some of these for planting. I think the reservoir will go. Decisions. I think out about there would be good. It's obviously going to take some work. We're going to want sluices on the bottom here. Probably don't need all sluices. In fact, let's just do 2 over there and a levee on this other side. The problem's going to be that it's going to interrupt our path over to this section that we have going at the moment. So we are going to have to figure out that. Hey, we have 2 injured beavers. I know we are working on towards getting tubeways. Decent amount of explosives, but we don't really need all that many explosives at the moment. We need more metal still. Gears are doing perfectly fine. We can pause both of the gears, I think. How many haulers we got going on right now? A lot of haulers. Let's lower that to 5. That will spread out our labor a little bit more effectively, I think. Did we turn that back on? We don't need the inventor HUD at all. That's lowest of low priorities. Let's see. Let's go ahead and make another log storage pile here. That way we can cut down some of these trees, get a little bit closer storage to where we're going to build this dam, and get a little bit more log storage just to be able to cut down some of these trees a little bit quicker. Without feeling bad about it. And actually, I think I'm going to move a lumberjack over there. That way that one can reach these and these. I think that would be better. They should get to work. Okay, nothing to do in range. All right, you're all done. Awesome. We can make a more efficient path over here now. That is quite a ways from our settlement. Where did we build that? I feel like we built a tubeway station already. Did we not? Do they highlight after when we have them selected? I don't think they do. There's our tubeway station. Okay. And we're working on dynamite in order to facilitate that. So we do want to unlock tubeways and vertical tubeways. I do like to build towards the bottom and make like a subway station system, but without mods like the more tunnels mods, that becomes a much bigger pain in the butt. And also we're already really low to the ground, so for now we might not just worry about that. First place I want the tubeways to go, I think, is going to be over here. Somewhere, perhaps. Or even up there would be pretty helpful as well. Let's see. Well, first things first, let's get it over those. Yeah, I think I am going to put one probably here to start with. That will at least be a little bit easier for this. Really, that's not even a great spot. It'd be better to have one here and one closer to here instead of trying to split the difference. That won't be very effective. So let's just get building those. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be pretty. How high is that up? It's just up one. Instead of going down and back up, let's just do platforms. Now the real question. How to navigate this? I think I am going to go just around this way. Because I don't want to make platforms all along the edge of that road, that path. I think I went up too high here. Can do that. Platform. It's across. There we go. Then we can kind of work our way this way. Vertical, 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 vertical. What this is going to do is increase the efficiency of our scrap collection. This first one. Because it will allow us to get over here much, much quicker. Again, we can just do platforms instead. And Tubeways station can be right there. All right, so that will take quite a while to build all that. But that will increase our metal production by increasing our scrap transportation, relocation, logistics. We're just going to have that set to open for now, so this isn't doing much of anything. This is dry already. And so is this. So let's release any water we have left here, which I don't think is actually any that can come out. All right, so that's problematic. Okay. Don't have any dynamite unlocked. Let's fix that. We have extract, so we can use triple. Let's blow up this area. So maybe we can go down there and get a water pump on this stack of water that's still available there. You know, actually, the easiest way to get water right now would be just to delete one of these. Honestly, maybe one of these should be sluices just so I can open and close it manually when I need to. I think that's what we're going to do. Let's go ahead and delete this. Then these can pump it. And I'll rebuild it as a sluice. So we can rebuild it as a sluice going that way and just have that set to open. We'll also set that at high priority. I want that done sooner rather than later. there was enough pressure to actually pressurize that still. Okay. I didn't know how much water was stuck down there, but with all the water up here. So basically with that pressure change, the water drained from up here until it got level here. So if we scroll down, peel back some layers, you can see it's not even quite there. It's going to drain a little bit more from there, and it's going to come back up because it's just kind of stabilizing. But that was the idea. These are connected, so these are going to stay at the same level. So now these 6 can run again. These aren't doing anything for us at the moment. Just to have a few more jobs, let's turn on the builder's hut. Construction lacks materials. What are we lacking? Metal blocks. Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. I think I'm going to scrap this idea for now. This reservoir here was not well thought out at all. It will work eventually. It just needs a little fine tuning. Needs something here to catch the water, basically. Or else it's just going to fill this up. And it needs something up to this height so that when this is full, it tells this that it's full. And the sluice can stop working. Stop pumping. Not pumping. Stop the water flowing. There we go. Trying to debate if we want any more. Oh, that's where. That's not at all what I wanted to do. Okay, there we go. That's where that water tank is connected, right there. So we can't actually plant more casabas there. This farmhouse seems to be overburdened with stuff to do, which not particularly great. But that is a lot that we're expecting of that one farmhouse. That is quite true. I mean, I guess there's this one as well, so it's 2 farmhouses, but this one's trying to help both of these. Yeah, the Ironteeth just really aren't as efficient at their farming practices. So this should offer some help. Won't be able to reach everything that needs to be harvested, but it should free up time for the ones that can reach it. Okay, we do need to unpause these. That was the whole point of that. Is that sluice done down there? No, we're probably waiting on the metal. Yes, we are. So I do think building towards here first with that tubeway station is the right path so that we can get the scrap over here to produce the metal quicker. We're out of power. Okay, we just don't have enough haulers to move logs around, it would appear. We don't have any haulers. That's a problem. Quite a bit of beavers died of old age at the same time. So that was less than ideal. Let's see. Well, these aren't pumping anything anymore. What am I doing? That should free up lots of labor. Now we have the haulers we need to move stuff around for us, including putting logs in these steam engines. We are running through our planks pretty quickly as well because of these tubeways, so we're probably going to want more of those. That should not surprise us. I think I'm going to delete this and change that to a vertical in order to get above this and get power over in this side as well. So then we can make that a vertical power shaft of the highest of priorities. And what I'm looking to do basically is build another lumber mill at this point. So we'll set all of that at high priority. Because yeah, we're running out of planks as well. So we're gonna need to address that. That can also be high priority. For the time being, we can just have some more haulers to fill out those jobs. It is nice that we have the deep water pumps that are able to go further down. Although they're only going to a depth of 2, so I guess the regular ones could do that as well. But still a nice fact that we have that as an option. We still just need that one metal block. Construction lacks materials, and that's all of those tubeways that we were building over there. You know what? Where's our bad water pump? We're full on bad water, so we don't need to be pumping that right now. That's just something we don't need to worry about at this exact moment. The good news is they're actually able to get quite a bit of the planks put into place over here on these projects. A lot of times they can't do that. A lot of times I just utilize the tubeways to be the method by which they get to where they need to go to build the tubeways, since they can build through them. They can actually reach everything pretty well this time from the side. Not every single spot, but a lot of it got the planks it needs while we're waiting on that metal. All right, this sluice is done. We're having it always open. Well, for now. And then we'll set it to always close when the drought ends. Actually, we can have it close up when... I wish it would... Okay, let's see. Downstream. Yeah, when downstream is above that, we can close it. That'll get pumped out pretty quick, and then this will start flickering open. And under normal operating conditions, this will have water in it from down here, so we won't need to have that open. So that will just automatically open when everything else goes dry. Okay. Food's still doing okay. We're surviving decently well on water through that longish drought. Still doing fine on gears. Planks are actually catching up. What we might need more of is another smelter, to be honest, because they're kind of slow at making the iron. And we're to the point where we need more metal blocks. So I am going to build another one of those smelters, actually. I can set that at a decently high priority. Let's see. Yeah, it's just kind of waiting for that drought to get over and try to increase some of our metal producing capabilities. I'm surprised this still hasn't been harvested. I guess we are sitting pretty full on logs. Maybe it's not even really enough room for another one unless we do that. That's kind of a little bit of a ridiculous path, but I really do want more log storage, and I think having some over here would be helpful. So I think we're going to try to just get more storage that way. And that will involve a stairs and some platforms go in this way. And of course the pathing. You do really start to miss the underground piles playing as Ironteeth. You know what? Let's actually set that at a pretty high priority too. I want this to get done. Drought has ended. Excellent. So when we look down here, some of that water's okay. This is still going to be closed, so the water's going to be forced this way right away until it has enough to pressurize. You can see when that's filling up right there, so that's getting pressurized. Why did it back up from that way? That was interesting. I guess it just kind of rushed forward until it hit the top and then kind of had a little bit of a back wave or something. Yeah, so this should stay closed, actually. The water's getting forced up here. It's going to be forced out here, go down here, and eventually into here. And we'll be in good shape again. Are breeding pods separated decently? Not as well as I would hope. So I'm going to pause this one just a little bit. And build another one. I do want a little bit more population. We have quite a few unoccupied beds. Okay, so that's going to flood these. What else is flooded? Oh. Okay, but these are open, so it rectified itself. Now, we're going to need... Let's see, how far apart are these now? Yeah, I'll unpause that. And I think it's actually a pretty good time to unpause that one. Oh, actually, it wasn't even going yet. Oh, we don't have haulers yet until that is fixed. Maybe these all did need to be sluices for the proper flow. Let's just have that deleted here for now. Guess that is a lot of flow coming through there. Now we have haulers again because the building is no longer flooded. Scrap we're keeping up on demand, but we're not moving a whole lot of it from there. So this is getting slowed down because of that. Let's prioritize getting the scrap brought over here. We are going to need to unpause these. This guy has nothing to do. Well done. Well done indeed. If only these ones would be as industrious. What is he doing? Carrying logs. You carrying logs all the way over there? Are they not helping you empty this out? They should be. Guess we just don't have enough haulers to do all of that. So that seems to be a theme of us not having enough haulers, and we really can't increase those a whole lot until we get more population. I'm going to pause the builder's hut. That was a very short temperate cycle. So be it, I guess. Let's keep the pumps pumping. Got a bad tide coming. We should also... No, let's see. Now this will stop any bad water from getting this way. I was going to say maybe we should have this marked to be closed with any contamination, but really it shouldn't matter. Bad water should never get there. Probably rebuild a sluice here. Still a decent ways for those tubeways to be done. And that's just the first of many connections we're going to make. We're also going to probably have one over here. Probably find a new home for that builder's hut, and that will, over there will probably be a tubeway station, actually. Also get one closer to these pumps, and then we can start not being quite so spread out. Well, we'll still be spread out, but the commutes will be better with the tubeways. Okay, he is making it. All right, so a lot of those haulers are moving the scrap over here now a little bit more efficiently, that we put that as a priority. So then these places are able to get the scrap much quicker. So that is definitely helping. I don't think that lantern's really necessary anymore. They're all getting it from the over here, I do believe. No, we don't have decorations on top of this building quite yet. Let's fix that. Decorations. We need, for one, we need a roof. We need a lantern. I don't think that's in range, though. Indeed, it is not. No, I think I'm going to unpause that building just so we can put some of the decorations over there. On top of that one. Then we might pause it once it's built. So we need a lantern over here. A shrubbery. Brazier. The beaver bust. The beaver statue. And who could forget the clock? But we already have one in range. Bad tide has started, and we got the water flowing that way. Excellent. Kept this area clean. And perhaps didn't... Maybe I should have been pumping a little bit more aggressively. These need to be set to open for now, so that we captured more of that water that was just flowing downstream. That probably would have been the smart way to do it, because some water was definitely just flowing this way, right? Well, we still haven't put up the sluices in front of these dams that would prevent any backflow from coming this way. I don't think it should be much of an issue anyway, because this won't be getting higher, and I think it should want to go the other direction faster. I think. Floodgates, of course, would also work. Let's see if we can set up some sluices here that will just prevent any bad water from going past that from this direction. We'll have them always set at open, but it'll just basically prevent the backflow. Because I'm a little worried with the bad tide that the bad water might get a little too high there. So still waiting on metal and just beavers to construct it. Okay. So be it. Well, when we keep diverting our metal to projects involving sluices, that is slowing down those tubeways for sure. Okay, we don't actually need beavers staying in this large barrack yet. Although it doesn't really hurt anything either. Because unlike folktales, empty houses does not mean population boom for Iron Teeth. So having that on pause really doesn't do us any harm either, considering it is also going to be in range of all of the decorations. We are just having trouble harvesting all of our logs. Like, we maybe planted more oaks than we needed. But that's kind of a good problem to have, I suppose. Except for the fact that I don't want to just destroy these, but I want them gone so I can work on our reservoir. I suppose one of the ways that we could help with that is just building the levees that will become the reservoir. Because, of course, what do I want this to be? Can I fit another log storage there? No, because the door would be right there. Okay, so since that can't be filled, let's just make the reservoir a little bigger right there. And we can go to, say, there. So if we spend our logs building this, that will force them to chop down trees a little faster. If that's part of the limiting factor. We can delete this now and get that other lumberjack going right there. All right, so this part is this dry? Looks pretty dry. We can turn those pumps off. Turn those ones on and these ones. Also turn this back on, just to use up a little bit more of that labor. Readily available labor, that is. Okay, the bad water did get here, but these sluices are now active, so it will never build up above this dam. And the only thing I'm using those sluices for, I'm not having any specific settings. They're just always open. It's just they prevent flow from going the opposite direction. Flow can only go this way. So no water that comes from this direction can ever hit these dams. But if this gets too high, the dams will overflow and it'll flow right through the sluices, no problem. So we won't have any flooding issues. So this is just to prevent the bad water, specifically during a bad tide, from reaching here, from reaching our settlement. Because during a drought, the bad water sources will also stop, so we won't have any, this won't fill up more than this. It's just when the good water sources are being diverted away that bad water could potentially get above these dams and cause issues. I haven't seen an unstable core get ready to explode for a while. I think we might actually be done with unstable cores. Possibly. Okay, there are still these two, but remember, those two aren't actually an issue. They would just open up something that I already voluntarily opened up to be our bad tide diversion. So those exploding means nothing, really. Only if I was trying to use that as good water would that have had any effect. Yeah. I just realized since we're not even using any water wheels and all of our power is coming from these steam engines, it's also even more impressive that we're not having any uh, log issues at all. Because we're burning a decent chunk of logs. Is this complete yet? Oh, it is getting close. Although they still need a lot of metal blocks for the station itself. And that alone should really free up some of our haulers. Give them more time to do other stuff because they won't have to travel as far to move scrap around. Suppose we can start planning out other locations now. Yeah, I am going to delete this builder's hut and put it elsewhere because that's just not a great location. Builder's huts can just be anywhere out of the way. Same with hauler posts. The only time they'll go there is if they don't have a job to do. So you don't have to worry about them going back and forth between there very often. So I'm actually just going to stick it up here out of the way and start working on tubeways over here. Or at least planning it out. And I'm going to have it this direction so that we have access to this other area if we so choose. We can do it that way. So basically we want to go something like, that will actually have to be a vertical, vertical, vertical platform. Tubeway, tubeway, tubeway. Except for this one's going to need to be vertical. Okay, so something a little like that, perhaps. And then we have a little room for other stuff here, potentially. It's going to be a while till they can get that all built. But I think it'll be a good thing to have it planned out. Hey, this one's fully functioning. So now this area is closer to our district center, closer connected. After this is done, it'll be even better because it's measuring from here. So they still have to travel all the way around here to get there. And once this is done, they'll only have to go here, and then this is faster. Anyway, so that's definitely helpful. We definitely have a few more tubeways to build to make our settlement more interconnected than it currently is. How it currently is being not at all. Since we're going to have just these be open at the moment, we can put the levees on top of them without any real issue. Besides blocking off. We had a lumberjack over here, but I don't think we do anymore. So we still want that one to harvest these oaks. That'll come. See, has this gone dry yet? It has. Let's pause that. Free up some labor. Suppose this put 4 builders. Yeah, we don't need 4 builders in there. 2 is plenty. I'd rather have the haulers because we're struggling to move resources around at the moment. We could probably lower this to just 1 beaver in this industrial lumber mill. because we're not out of planks anymore. We've caught up on their usage. I think it would be a better use of time to have somebody in the gear workshop in case we start using more of those. All right. Let's see. Should definitely work on getting Tubeways over here as well. One thing that I'm going to miss as well is with the more tunnels mod, and actually I think with the Ember Pelts is specifically, is there is a two-way levee. And with that, you can pierce a levee without actually causing any drainage issues. So I could build straight over this way and go through this levee to connect this area if I so chose. Now I'm going to have to go over or under the reservoir. And there's not a lot of room to go under. There's some. But you definitely have to be very careful with that on this pressurized pressure map with those pipes down there. It was pointed out in one of the comments this week that instead of building this monstrosity of a dam, we really only needed to put levees like here, just outside this blast radius to force the water to go that way. That would have been much cheaper. In the heat of the moment, I didn't realize that was an option. The unstable core I thought was closer to the bad water source here, which was not the case. There was room to build in between it. That would have been much more cost effective. I mean, this works. It just is expensive. It was a mad scramble to get built in time. We got it done, but it was not a very efficient way to handle that unstable core going kaboom. So these are dry. This is now our only area that we can pump water from. And this is currently switching between open and closed as it is pumped out. So we're actively pumping water out of here, basically. This is never getting so low that these pumps stop working before the sluice lets more of the good water in. So that's good. This other farmhouse definitely helped us catch up on our harvesting. So I'm glad to see that. We're still just waiting on metal blocks. We're definitely going to need more metal blocks in the long run. Yeah, that's just a fact. I do think I'm going to try to level some of this out to expand the industrial sector. I'm not going to go too far over this way. I don't want to interfere with that water flow. But yeah, I do think I'm going to level this out. So let's first give our beavers a path to get down there. Unfortunately, we're going to need one. Well, actually, we don't need a stair there. The stair is actually going to be the cheapest way, though. I was going to say we could put like a ladder over here, but no, the stair will be not a ladder, overhang or bridge. Stair is going to be the cheapest in order to be able to build all of those. Looks like we can just start off with the triple dynamite though. No problem. And we can have this one be the double dynamite. Just to get it at the same height as this. Hey, this two-way is connected, and I think that will actually make this closer. Yeah, it made it closer by like 20. 13. Still, it made it closer to the district center. That is definitely helping interconnect our settlements a lot better. We still need more, but we'll get there. Bad water, we still have plenty. We don't need to worry about turning this back on anytime soon, especially since we're not using much extract. Actually, with this terraforming job, we might be using more extract. So let's go ahead and get that up. Delete that. Put that there. All right, so it looks like we're just going to need one more there. Which is fine, of course. Unstable core. 10 days. Both of these are going off at the same time. But like I said, that just opens up something we already chose to open on our own free will. So won't cause any issues. Bad tide is done. We're still sending it over this way because it is contaminated a little bit behind there. Now this is closed and this is going to open. Wonderful. Kind of a wave of this being full and it's probably going to bounce back that way. Yep. This is still going to flicker open and closed until water gets there other ways. That other way being this, of course. I think we can actually just stop pumping out of there. We could even just open this for a time being, just let that fill up more. And then set it to auto, and then it'll force the water over here. Hopefully that rambling made some amount of sense. I'm not sure if it did, but hopefully it did. All right, so we actually need ones there. And at least threes up here. Actually, let's start with threes here. And twos there. Probably pause the centrifuge a little bit. It's just using a lot more power than what it's currently being useful for. Not sure if that makes sense. Hopefully it did. This whole project would speed up, however, if we put a small tank in a small warehouse for explosives obtained and extract obtained. And then if we now that other tubeway station actually does make sense to give our builders a better way to here. So yeah, if we can prioritize those three buildings, that will speed up this process quite a bit. Sure, we're still short on the metal. Actually, we were starting to build up a little bit of a stockpile of metal. Um, that's awesome. Where was our metal storage? I know we had it here. Is it over here? Yes, it is. Okay. Cool. Drought is approaching. Okay. Shouldn't be much of an issue. All right, and these are full. So now this will go much, much faster. I think we can delete that already. Do something like that. If we did that and that, that would get everything at the same level there. That can be deleted. Triple there. Singles here. We might not have been able to delete that because I think we do need to get back over here. We'll see how things play out here. Yep, definitely made a mistake there. Oh, well. And that is triple high there. Okay. Don't want these to be exploding. Okay, yeah, they're gonna have issues reaching some of that. Okay. Well, we can certainly use overhangs to help build this. And how those can be useful is just doing something like that. And since they can build directly below it and one off to the side of each, that will cover that whole area. I think I deleted more than I wanted to there. No, it was just the path. Okay. Now, this is not a very realistic form of scaffolding. Obviously, this is extremely top heavy and you put any weight here and it would come crashing down. But beavers are so good at engineering that they have been able to defy the laws of physics with their scaffolding. So that's pretty awesome. Last episode I did mention how I was surprised how short the beavers live. I mean, we count their age in days. That's kind of crazy, right? But I don't need a new name. This one's 22 days old. So be it. But it's probably a good thing. Because, as was pointed out, they're 9-foot tall beavers with complex understanding of mathematics and engineering and a complex language. And look how far they've come in just the short number of days that this colony has been alive. They would quickly take over the earth if they lived longer. And probably, honestly, grow too fast for the earth to sustain and probably cause just as much issues as the humans, because overpopulation that quickly could cause resource depletion. They wouldn't have a chance to study the effects that their expansion was having until it was too late. Would be my theory with that. What size are these? These are... Oh, we need more extract. Yes, yes, of course. We don't need more planks, so we can save the power there. Yeah, we're just a little bit over now. Not a big deal. That was a little bit of lag. So these are triple. Place the triple right there. Unpause it. Yes, those unstable cores are getting ready to go kaboom. So be it, though. How's our scrap supply over here looking? Okay, not great. We've actually eaten through a lot of... chewed through a lot of our scrap. However, yeah, we're actually using it faster now than we're collecting it, which is kind of interesting. There's not a whole lot left here, though. We are going to have to turn our attention to where's the next pile. And with the tubeway already over here, it might be easiest to get a tubeway over here. In fact, I'm pretty sure it will be. Pretty sure that's the path we're going to take here, ladies and gentlemen. So we can even just start doing that before we run out of scrap. Let's get a path to our replacement scrap. It's trying to do it this way to avoid having to go over pathing, but if I just build straight over here, they won't be able to reach this scrap anymore. So we're going to have to make adjustments to avoid the pathing. Anyway. Something like that, like that, like that. Down, down. Made it down here. Peel back a few layers. And then actually, if we do this, that should enable us to get to the right height. That is not what I meant to build there. All right, and then we can just put down a tubeway station there. Path from the tubeway station. And some scavenger flags. And for that matter, probably a small pile for scrap. Large pile for scrap. Okay, so now they'll use our metal to start working their way that direction. That way we can get to our new source of scrap before we have fully depleted this one. That's important. Is there any more scrap? There is a few more piles. Oh, yes. This is a massive map, guys. There's quite a bit of scrap scattered throughout the world. Quite a bit indeed. You have a lot of choices to do with this map. Honestly, this map is larger than I prefer. I like to build pretty tight, concise colonies. And if I use every inch of space on this efficiently, there's a lot of stuff you could do with that. But before I could get there, my computer would basically explode. Also, it would take forever. So yeah, this map is just larger than what I need to have fun, and yeah, it's just a little bit too large. What is that vertical tubeway doing there? That was a mistake. But you could really do a lot of things with this map. Almost too many things, because of the simple fact, like I said, by the time you start utilizing everything, you're already having issues. Oh, there are some natural dams here. Didn't notice that before. Those are similar to blockages, except for they do act as a dam. So they do have a spillway on the top at the 0.65 height of these other dams that we build. So that's interesting. I just realized we haven't had these pumping this whole time. We didn't have them pumping that whole temperate cycle either. That was a problem. It's been rectified now, but part of the damage has been done. Really, we wanted those pumping during that whole temperate cycle to store up as much water that wouldn't evaporate as possible. That time has passed, but it is what it is. We're going to pump now. Luckily, we noticed it before we were completely out of water, but it would have been nice to have more of that water in storage and less of it just flowing off the map. We are out of bad water now. Makes sense. We made a whole bunch of extract, right? All right. So then we just need another set of triples here. And they can reach all of that from that scaffolding. How is our new Tubeway station going? It's coming along slowly. They got to build it piece by piece. It would speed up if we did. See, these need what? Planks and metal blocks. See, what we really should do is right across from this other tubeway, have a storage for metal blocks and planks. Remember, that's one of my #1 tips is to speed up building projects is to have storage nearby. Have your haulers bring the materials closer so that your builders can utilize it without having to travel all the way back. But it looks like the main thing actually stopping this is we are missing a basic tubeway on top of this vertical one. So they couldn't use the tubeways to reach further down the line. That was the problem there. But this will still speed things up. Remember, haulers can carry more than a builder, so having them focus on moving the materials around so your builders don't have to travel as far greatly increases the efficiency of your building projects. I feel like we don't have a whole lot of haulers in the hauling post at the moment. Indeed, we do not. Well, this is dry, so we can be pausing these pumps. Turn those ones on instead. That's actually not boding very well for us. Can we release any water from here? No, that's already dry too. Yeah, we kind of dropped the ball in that last temperate cycle, but so be it. I did just take a look at the time. We are well over an hour already, so I don't think we're going to have a chance to see how this drought resolves itself. Hopefully, I think we can still get enough water stored up to be okay. And yeah, that's kind of where we're sitting. We did accomplish some stuff today. We got a start to our other reservoir. Actually, we can now, those have finally been harvested. Great. So that'll be something we'll work on next episode. And we got some tubeways going. And we were proactive and noticed that our scrap was running out and we needed to start reaching over here. So we got that taken care of before we ran out of scrap to make the metal to build the tubeways that we're using to access more scrap. So if you enjoyed this episode and you stuck around to the end, thank you so much. Leave a like, leave a comment. Love to hear from you guys. Yeah, subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you next time.